Hello and welcome to Bunto's Silent Dogfight, episode number 5. Tonight I have a great guest. It's Stephen Bachman. Stephen is located in Perth, Australia. He's been on YouTube now for 2 years and he's a very popular vlogger which examines a multitude of topics. His current interest now, right now at the moment, is fitness and health. How are you doing tonight, Stephen?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I've had better days, but yeah, I'm here. I'm breathing, so we're good to go.
Okay, so how long have you been on this fitness kick?
Um, Actually, only about 2 or 3 months. Probably closer to 3 months, but I've only been getting pretty serious the last 2 months. So, and
Have you
that's
ever
I have. Oh no, go on.
have you ever done fitness before, previously?
Yeah, I have. I used to want to be a soldier, so I trained really hard to get into the military, which I ended up doing, and then I gave up on myself through depression, and I didn't follow that through, and that's something I regret. That's probably one of my biggest regrets in life. But and because I never got a second chance to go back and make things right, they wouldn't let me. But um, I wanted to reattain that sort of fitness level and that strength that got me into the military in the first place. So that's why I've been getting back into it pretty heavy, because that's my goal, is to sort of get to where I'd been before.
Okay, so just to tell our audience, are you looking to bulk up or to slim down?
At the moment, bulk up. I'm looking to probably put on another 5 kilos, hopefully, or I think that's about 12 pounds. And once I sort of get up around, yeah, that sort of weight, I'll be, I don't think I'll probably put much weight on after that. I think it'll be pretty hard for me.
Now you want to have muscle instead of
Yeah,
bulk, correct?
that that's right. I'm
Okay.
I'm I'm trying to gain lean muscle, not trying to get fat. I want to get fit.
Okay, in your expertise, what's the difference between muscle and fat, just as far as fitness?
As far fat isn't if fat is just excess body weight that you're carrying around, you can have if there's three, I think there's 2 or 3 kinds of fat. There's off memory. I'm not a nutritionist, so I wouldn't quote me on this, but there's several layers of different fats in your body. There's ones that protect your organs, that's visceral.
All right.
Um, then you've got ones that sort of fill up the gaps in your between your body parts, which is plural. I think that's how it's kind of hard to pronounce, but I think it's plural. And then you've got bad, and then you generally have like stored body fat.
Right.
But you can also start developing bad body fat, which leads to cancers and to other things in life that we just don't want. So.
Okay, so there is such a thing as good fat. Just
Oh yeah, yeah. You should have be a male should be between 10 to 18% body fat. But
okay.
off memory, that's about where you sort of is okay to be around. You can theoretically get below, and a lot of people do to show off their abs, and it's okay so long as you're eating the right foods.
All right. Well, let's talk about a bit about just the basics of a proper diet. Meat,
Yep.
vegetables, fruits, and nuts. Okay, let's talk about meats first. Red meat, is that good in quantity or should be limited? Red meat.
I would actually eat red meat more than I would eat white meat, and the
Okay.
reason why I say that is I guess a poker man who lives up in the wild, he might not have it
No,
to him, so he might choose something like he might go out and hunt a deer, which I guess is red meat, but the next time he might get a catch of rabbits. So if that's that's available for him, then yeah,
should you
yeah.
eat nothing but red meat?
Eat white meat probably once or twice a week, which I've been told it's actually better for bulking because your body burns it a lot quicker.
Right.
It's like 6 hours over 8. Yeah, your body burns white meat. I think it's about a third quicker. So
Okay. White
I don't
meat
know.
is
It's,
like
it's yeah,
pork. What
yeah,
are the white
pork,
meat?
pork, chicken, rabbit, um, certain birds, yeah, because say duck, that's actually red meat, and it's actually quite nice. If you haven't tried it, go to a Chinese shop and try it. It's actually not bad. Um, it's very greasy though.
Greasy.
Um,
You know,
yeah,
there's all
it's one of those
sorts.
things you have to put.
I was gonna tell you,
Yeah,
Stephen.
it's
There's
exotic.
all sorts of fad diets, right? All red meat diets, all white meat diets. I mean, is there
You don't
any?
want to have too much of one.
Okay,
I wouldn't. Yeah, you know how they always say, you can turn anything into a poison.
yes,
Basically, if you're constantly eating a particular type of food, you're going to be missing out on other important nutrition. So, or other important foods that you should incorporate into your diet. Obviously, if you've got allergies, you can't do that. So you're gonna have to know what your allergies are and how to work with them rather than against yourself.
right. Is there any sort of meat that comes to mind that's bad? Is there a bad meat?
Um, Actually, I think there is. Um, Trying to remember. I know there's a certain type of blowfish that you can't eat.
I mean, but just in,
Uh,
in conventional, there's nothing that just comes to mind and says, "Oh, you
oh
better
yeah.
stay away from
Oh,
that."
oh, you mean like stuff you buy from the supermarket?
Yes, especially that.
Oh right, yeah. No, there's nothing out there that's overly bad. Otherwise, they wouldn't be allowed to sell it if it was bad.
Like a bologna sandwich. Can you keep eating bologna and cold cuts?
Yeah, of course, but I mean, if you're eating too much of it, then like if you're having a bologna sandwich every single day, I would say, yeah, you might want to throw in a salad sandwich every couple of days or something.
Well, what
Like
gets
it's
you is the
okay.
carbs, right? The bread is the
Yeah.
carbs. That's the real killer.
Um. Yeah, carbs will bulk you up. I've been told to eat more carbs to bulk up. I've been eating more protein than carbs, so that's probably not been helping. But
All right, so just to tell the audience, how does carb proteins work? How do carbs work first?
they're your body's energy source. So basically, if you can think about it like this, your body they're a form of energy. So what they will build fat if for stored energy over if your body doesn't need the carbs, so you will get fatter.
Right. And protein, that goes straight to muscle?
It should do, yeah. In generally speaking, but if you just had an all protein diet and you were eating too much food, weren't exercising enough, then yeah, you'd still get fat.
But not as much as if you just tanked up with carbs.
Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't think so. I've not heard of it. I've not seen it. I mean, you would if it was true, you would see it a lot with the bodybuilding guys. You know, you'd see those bodybuilding guys, and they're on these ridiculously high protein diets. So, I mean, if they were eating too much and they weren't eating enough healthy stuff, then yeah, they would.
Now, what people always fear about diets is you can't eat Oreos, you can't eat jelly donuts. Is
That's
that
not
true
true.
necessarily? Okay, go ahead.
No, no, that's not true. It's always they. The thing is, what generally happens is people that have an eating disorder will tend to um, they'll eat too much, and what they generally don't realize is that most people, I personally think, eat more food than they actually need. I think if they cut down, and I sort of learned that after watching my brother diet, and he went on this like diet where they basically sent him out his food, and he just ate what they were, they gave him, and they basically said you got these for these meals, and it occurred to me that after seeing how much weight he lost and how much food he was eating, I was realizing, hey, we all generally eat way too much food. Like we put way too much food on our platters. So I guess what they would say is, it's okay to eat Oreos and that. You probably just don't want to eat them all the time. Like, like if you have like coffee and then you have an Oreo with your coffee or whatever, maybe every third coffee have a couple of Oreos with it or something like that. That'd be the difference, I'd say.
Excellent. Um, Stephen, let me ask you, do you advocate? Well, okay, well, let's go back to the diet. Let's just square that away first, because I wanted to get to this subject, but let's go ahead and okay, we finished off meats. What about vegetables? Should the only vegetables you eat be raw, or they should be the ones that you can cook? Vegetable.
Um, I think any vegetable's good. I think if you can't afford to eat raw vegetables. Say, like, I don't know about you, but I do night shifts, and my body clock and my hours get thrown out the toilet, down the toilet. But someone like Inventor Gorilla, he does a lot of work as well, and someone like him, I guess frozen vegetables would be fine. So I would say when people say frozen vegetables aren't like good, they're not as good because they're not as clean because you've covered them in pesticides, you've frozen them, and all of that. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're still vegetables. So eating vegetables is better than not eating them at all. So I mean, if all you can do is eat frozen vegetables, then for your veggie intake, then yeah, I would definitely say do it. Oh,
This just a basic
yeah.
question. Which is better, a potato or a carrot to eat?
Depends what you'd want to do. If you want to see in the dark, carrot. No, actually, I would say I would say they're both good for you. They're not like a clean potato isn't going to be bad for you. It's got very little fat in it. It's got a lot of oil, I think. They store a lot of energy. Potatoes. They're really good. They almost make a heating element. But
Is
yeah.
there some, should you be worried about eating vegetables raw or just
Oh
accepting
no.
vegetables for all they are, for all they're worth?
Accepting, look, all I would say is if you like cooking your vegetables, cook them. If
Right.
that's what you like. If you like them raw, eat them raw. It really comes down to you as a person. I would say that it's probably healthier to eat them, wash them off and say boil them or something like that.
Right.
But I mean, given the choice, if you just don't have the time and you just want to throw some veggies in a Tupperware container and put it in the microwave, then that's fine because that's vegetables. You're still getting your vegetables, and that's the important thing. So
Okay. How important is it to eat a fruit every day? Fruits.
that's very, very, very important.
Okay.
They've got vitamins that you need, essential vitamins like vitamin C. Um, I'm not sure all of them, but they also have fructose acid and things like that, which help break down body fat. And there's plenty of things about fruits. They actually recommend here in Australia that you eat 2 fruit, 5 vegetables, and you get 30 minutes of exercise a day. And if you're doing that, you should stay pretty healthy. That was a big campaign from the health organization. They really pushed for that.
So that's a step in a proper direction, right? To have at least a
Yeah.
fruit a day with a little activity.
Yeah, of course. So at least if you can do 1 or 2 fruits, great. That's really good. I mean, obviously, if you're like me and you love fruit, then you probably eat too much of it. But um, you know what? That's all. That's all good.
Okay, now
It's
the
not going to
last
hurt.
one is nuts. I mean, people
Yep.
really don't incorporate nuts in their diet, but nuts really help with digestion.
Yeah, I've been told that they're very healthy. I've experimented with them. I've never really got into them because they're very expensive. That's why I
I
generally,
see. That's true.
yeah, they're about $9 a kilo here for just the salted peanuts and I just don't, I can't eat them without the salt on them because it's sort of like, they're too bland. But
So there we go. Meat, vegetables, fruits, and nuts. Now let's talk about what I wanted to get to earlier, drinks and supplements. Okay, are you
yeah,
big on supplements or not?
uh, I take them, but I take them because I can't get enough of regular food intake incorporated into my day and my diet. So I take supplements to boost that, so I get that extra food.
Okay, some people claim that all you need to do is eat food, that you don't need to spend money on supplements. That you
You
just
can.
essentially you just pee away the supplements. You're not really, you know,
Okay, that's not. You don't pee away the supplements because if you see how much, honestly, like if this was a cup,
right.
um, and you had it like filled to there with like that was protein, that was water, milk or water or whatever it is that you're using, that protein that in that cup, you have to wash that immediately. It gets stuck to the side like cement. It's honestly,
So it
it's
probably
really hard to get out. You have to clean it almost instantly after using it. So, um, what I would say is no. The amount of protein and food that's in a supplement, you're not peeing it away unless, I mean, the vitamins like like a Men's Health
right multivitamin.
multivitamin. Yeah, you might pee away some of that stuff. that might be what that. I mean, that's sort of like the idea of where that came from. But
So if you were going to get on a health kick, should you start looking into drinks and protein shakes and supplements?
it depends what you're trying to do. I mean, if you're a skinny guy like me and you want to bulk, yeah, I would recommend that 100%. I would say you need to do that, and it'll boost your energy as well. So you'll be able to you'll be able to feel more energetic for the gym. And the other thing is,
I use it. I'm slimming down in my case. I use it for a
yeah.
meal replacement, a
Oh,
protein
right.
shake.
Is that working for you?
Oh yeah. I use it
So,
for before I go to the gym. I don't like to eat before I get to the gym, anything solid, because I'm
yeah.
like doing two things at once. I'm like working on a digestion. But if I do a protein drink, then I get what I need, the energy and the protein for getting lean muscle. So I prefer to
How
take
much
protein shake before I go to the
can
gym.
you can you tell the audience how long you've been gymming and how much you've lost over the period of time, so they get an idea of
Since
how hard you've been working?
I honestly started just walking around my neighborhood in August. I joined the gym in October, when they had a sale. So there's August, September of just walking around the neighborhood. And I went from 245 pounds, and now I'm sitting at 210.
There you
So
go. So
35
that's
pounds.
hard work. That's hard work right there, and hard work has paid off. So
Yes, I feel a lot better, have tons of energy, and I'm looking to lose even more to get under, finally get under 200 pounds. I was under 200 pounds when I was in my 30s, and into my 40s, I was just, way over 200 pounds, and now I just
yeah.
back
So
coming up on my.
and what's your goal? Like, what's got you into the mindset of doing?
I just wanted to be
Like,
a lot fit. I wanted to give myself a gift on my 50th birthday of,
okay,
really being in the
that's
best
fair
shape.
enough. And
So
yeah, and you know what, I really, as a lot of the bodybuilders say, I salute you on that
thank you. I
because
salute you too,
yeah,
Stephen.
yeah. I mean, that's a lot of work, and people don't realize how hard it is to do that. It's hard for a slim guy to build, but it's also hard for somebody that gains weight. It's hard for them to lose weight. There just doesn't seem to be a middle ground. I think
Right.
some people are lucky, but yeah,
Well,
it's
okay, why don't we talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room at this point? We have a dear friend, Kizzume Fowler, who
yep.
is a part of this group community called the Gainers. Now, just for the audience, give a nutshell of what the Gainer community is all about.
Oh, yeah, sure. From how it appears, these people do not gym, and they basically eat in excess of whatever you need to eat um, to gain a significant amount of weight for a look.
For a look. It's the cosmetics of the
Yeah.
situation. Now, just to give the audience an example, let's say somebody who's 5'7", you would think would be around maybe 160, 170 pounds, right?
Yeah,
These
that would
people
be
want to
fair.
take it up to about 300 to 320.
Okay, so that's more than twice what he
More than
should be.
twice. The,
Because I mean, yeah, he could actually really get down to probably 155, 160 pounds. That would be he'd be looking pretty good then, I reckon. Because all
okay,
that extra stuff, that's weight he's carrying around. That's not muscle. That's all fat.
that is
That's all
fat.
that is.
The gainer community stresses fat, in fact. It is a part and parcel of their sexuality. To be specific, they believe it aids in it. Um,
Mm,
now,
it's not,
let's just
yeah.
talk about the mechanics first before we talk about the esoterics, okay? Um, wi- is not that much weight extreme stress upon one's heart?
It is very, very much so. This is why doctors will tell a person who is larger to lose weight because it puts a huge stress on your heart. Your heart is like, it's borderline like what's important in your body, your heart, your brain, your kidneys, like what organ? It's just one of those very vital organs that you put
Essential.
under stress. That's it. It poops you out. You die.
Now, what extreme obesity affects is the heart valve.
Yeah,
It increases heart
yeah. They
pressure and
all.
it wears out your valves and damages
Yeah,
them.
you often hear of people getting, bypasses. I know that the guy at work, boss I liked, he had a heart attack and he had to have a double bypass, and that was from stress. But adding weight onto stress, because you're going to have stress in your life, you know,
And
that's
also
going to,
reducing the arteries because your arteries clog by so much cholesterol.
yeah,
So
yeah. Then that's putting more pressure. Your heart has to pump harder to pump the same amount of blood through your body. And
and it okay.
it's,
There's
no, I was just going to say, yeah, it's not good. You don't. It also puts stress on your lungs. Your diaphragm has to work harder just to pump your lungs up and down. Just
right. Okay. Those are the mechanics. Now let's go towards the esoterics. Stephen, why would somebody need to be obese? Just why would
nobody
they
needs
need
to.
to be?
Well, I mean, between you and me, nobody needs to be obese. I think Kizzume Fowler is setting a very, very bad example out there for his audience, and he has a large audience. He has close to 2,500 people that subscribe to him. And let's just say 10 of those people see his lifestyle as a great choice in life. Or they see him and they think, well, if he doesn't care about his weight, why should I? He's setting a
Right.
very bad example. Like lead by example. And although he might turn around and say, well, I'm not a role model, not your choice. People still see you. Other people out there will still see you like that. You don't get to choose to be a role model. Like,
Okay. So,
yeah,
but just let's really try. Okay, let's try to. I'll try to take up his end of the argument. Okay, to
yeah,
him, he says it aids in his sexual experience. That it aids. It's part and parcel of his sexuality. That people squeeze his breasts. It induces much more arousal. They squeeze his
yeah.
tummy. It's much more arousal. Um, I mean, is
I
that
just,
any
I,
reason to endanger yourself to that extent?
no, no, because I mean, okay, when you think about it, sexual experience lasts what for a guy when you get sexually aroused? What's between what, depending on how good your stamina is and how good you are in the bedroom. Yeah, what is it? Between 5 to 20 minutes on
Right.
average. So you're doing everything for something that you occasionally experience 5 to 20 minutes of your life, and you're endangering your health because of that. And I just think that's a stupid reason to be doing something. I think he needs to get his ass down to the gym pretty quickly.
Okay, but let me ask you this: how come
Yeah.
me and you, Stephen, cannot see obesity as sexy as Kiz does? What's our problem? What's our insecurity of not seeing obesity as sexy?
Because I suppose because we know better. I
Okay,
suppose I suppose it's because we don't look at fat and go, oh, this, fat power, and where that old saying comes from, like, oh, fat is muscle, and you burn fat off to gain muscle. Well,
right.
fat isn't muscle. It's just excess body weight. You have to burn. The reason why somebody who's really big and then slims down will look really good, like, get really big muscles, or they'll show like really good definition and have like pretty big muscles and that after they've lost a lot of weight. So like if you watch Biggest Loser, it's because underneath all that fat, their body has to be working that much harder
Yes.
to be gaining that. So it's the muscle underneath that's giving them the strength. It's not the muscle. It's not the fat on top. If they lost that fat, that muscle would be there. Just they just have to work.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, he's my friend, a dear friend, and he gets
Yeah.
really angry at me for even mentioning fitness. Anything that goes
Mm,
towards health, he gets mad at me, and he always threatens to cut me off. And I mean, people can read the comments between me and him on the thread. Sometimes you can detect
yeah.
that he's on the verge of dumping me. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
in his latest video, what was his name of that latest video he came out with,
Oh,
Steve?
why I'm still gaining weight.
Why I'm still gaining. He ended it with this punch that it only affects him. Okay. What his decision only affects him, but let's approach this claim that how severe unhealthiness only affects a person. What about his parents, his
Yeah.
friends, his loved ones? I mean, where do we
What
stand
if
in
he has
this?
kids? What if And it does affect you. That's what a lot of people forget. You know, there are people out there that will be like, "Oh, I don't care if I have cancer, or I don't care if my life goes to shit." Well, it's like, well, you might not care, but the rest of your family does because they haven't stopped loving you
Right,
because
right,
you don't care. And that's a really, you know, it's a really good point you're making there. And I think that Kizzume is he's forgetting that, you know, he's forgetting that other people care about him, and the reason why they've been hassling him is simply because they know what sort of position he's putting himself in, and I personally think that it's got nothing to do with how I think his mental state is wrong
right.
for wanting to gain. I think he needs to see a psychologist and talk to them about gaining weight and his want of it, and
Okay,
his
let's
fact
talk
that
a
he
bit
doesn't.
about this gaining community. How does this gaining community, doesn't it almost feel like a religion, like a cult in a way?
Yeah, it does.
A,
It does. It feels like a way out for people that have been struggling their life to get motivated to want to make a change in their life. They can't seem to do it, and it just seems to me that it's almost like, hey, we've got. It's almost like here's a credit card with lots of debt on it. You know what? You don't have to pay the debt back because at some point somebody's going to come reclaim your house, and it's sort of like that with this gaining community, you know? Oh, don't worry about your health because at some point you're going to die, but you won't
right.
care because you lived a good life, kind of thing. Like, come on,
Devil may
really?
care attitude.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I don't know if that was the best example with the credit card, but I just felt that that sort of led to the same sort of scenario where you lose something very important to
Okay,
you.
well, let me ask you this, Stephen. With Kazum, eventually are we going to have an intervention, or will he just come to his senses? I mean,
Um,
if he's
if
part of
you
a cult.
you and I will probably never get a single word into him that he's going to listen to. But there might be someone out there he does listen to, and hopefully those people can talk him into
Reach
seeing
out
some
to him.
help. Yeah, because I think he needs to see help more than he needs to join a gym at this point in time. I mean, from what you've told me and what he said is that he doesn't bathe. Now
Right
that
now,
the fact is he's getting fat. He doesn't bathe, so he's going to sweat and stink a lot. Is he trying to make people walk away from him? Like, is he trying to smell really awful just so people avoid him or give him the stink eye or something like that? You know, is there
right,
a certain thing going for? Does he want to? You know how Christians want to be prejudiced, like people to be prejudiced against them,
right,
like they'll go,
persecuted.
yeah, that's it. They want to be persecuted. Is Kazumi in that same boat where he's looking to be persecuted so he can blame the world for feeling like shit?
Yeah, take the responsibility off his shoulders.
Yeah, exactly. So if he smells, if he's fat and obese, and he's going to turn around and go, "Oh, you guys are mean to me, blah blah blah," and "Oh, I should oh, put woe is me," and it's sort of like, well, actually, you did that to yourself. Nobody did that to you, and you've got no one to blame but yourself. And you know what? You're not trying to do anything about it. You're not really trying to care about your health there.
And the
So
only thing, the last, like, well, we Kate, is the last kind of word we bring about the gainers is that,
yeah,
when you're in your 40s, when you're approaching your 40s, that's so much harder to get rid of that weight you put on. It's
I
almost
believe that.
impossible.
My dad, he gained a lot of weight. He had to work really hard to lose it. Like he was up, he was skinny like me, and he was up around 100 kilos at when he was in his 40s. So that's not good to be 5'9" and up around 220 pounds.
Right.
So yeah, that doesn't sound like much to some people, but when you think about if that's just body fat, and you've got a body frame like mine, it doesn't really work out. So
It's just that much harder. Okay, so, yeah, okay, why don't we say this? Just to be honest and to be human, it is so much easier to feed your face than to go
yeah,
down to the gym and do
absolutely,
that first
absolutely.
workout because it's so painful. Um, let's help our
Mm,
audience start with just a basic workout of going to
yep,
a gym is not to be feared, right, Stephen? It's just
that's right. Well,
fun
if
social
yeah,
activity.
if you've never been to the gym before, I recommend going down on a casual visit and talking to some people down there. You don't even have to do much. Just go down there and try out the different machines and just try to work on your technique. Don't even have to do big weight or anything like that. You just have to just
Definitely.
go down there and just basically see what you can do. Even take down a piece of paper, write down what it is that you can physically do, and
Right.
then try and beat that the next week. I mean, that's all I've been doing. I started pretty low, and I took down a piece of. I've been taking a book with me every time I go down, and I basically have like a ledger, and I either try to match what I did the previous week or better it. That's all I've been doing, and
Right.
I do between 8 to 10 reps, but I'm going to step that up for size building. So I'm not going to go down in weight. I'm going to probably try and keep the weight up pretty high, and probably do 10 to 15 reps, which is, you don't really need to go any higher than 15, I don't
Right.
think. But I
Well,
but yeah,
I was just going
yeah,
to tell to the listeners, okay, when you go to the gym, if you're a creative type like I am, it's sort of like you
hmm
invent things. You go down to the gym and actually create your own workouts, right? Could you just give our
yeah.
audience like the basics of what's a workout supposed to do with your muscles? How to break them
Ah,
down
it's
and build
oh
them up.
right, yeah. Okay, well, when you're working out, what you're actually doing is you're actually tearing down the muscle fibers. You're actually physically tearing your muscle fibers, but micro tears, like you wouldn't be able to see them. And that's why you wake up in the morning with, like, particularly on the first time you start training, that's why you'll wake up in significant pain because you've torn your muscles and they're rebuilding themselves. So what you're feeling as the pain is the healing factor.
Right.
So, um, so what steroids and all that do is they help with the muscle recovery. That's why a lot of big bodybuilders, people that have been training for a long time, they'll want to start taking steroids because because that way when they start working out, they don't get that muscle pain. Then they can go back next day and do the same muscle group or something like that. So they can really, really hit something really hard where you would have to wait 2, 3 days to get over. They're back at it the next day, next something like that. So and that's
Now,
why that.
that's a very good explanation, Stephen. I just want to bring out to the attention of our audience that there's all sorts of goals that you can do when you go to a gym. Like my goal wasn't so much to put on, big muscles.
Muscle.
My goal was just
Mm.
to tone and to get down to a runner's body. I
Yep.
wanted to slim down and get lean. Since I'm LGBT, I wanted to get a little bit less masculine. I wanted to be a little bit more leaner. Now,
Yep.
maybe on your case, Stephen, you want to bulk up and get, big
Yeah.
muscles.
Well,
Is that
I actually wanted to get up, like I said, because of the army thing. Because I'd been a certain size before. I just had that goal in mind that it was basically I've been that strong before, so I can get that strong again. And it's harder as you get older, like you said, but it's certainly not impossible. And then I was thinking, well, once I actually start getting up around that weight, which is between, I think it's about the weight I'd be sort of sitting around would be about 146 to 150 pounds, so it's about
right?
welterweight. And I would be thinking, well, I wouldn't mind trying a bit of amateur boxing, although I think a lot of people would tell me you probably just get your face punched in. Like if you haven't done it before, you're not going to get much aggression out. You're just going to go in there and get slapped around like a
Right.
fool, and you'll regret it. And I'll think maybe you're right, but it might help. Like, I've still got a bit of anger down in the basement I'd like to get out.
Yeah,
So,
stress
yeah,
reduction. Dude, gym is good for stress reduction.
yeah.
Now,
So, I mean,
that's another thing I like to bring up, to our audience that all personality types can go to the gym. We can go from just speaking for males, we can go from very effeminate to very masculine. There's a whole span of people that can enjoy going to the gym.
yeah, definitely. And a lot of people go for different reasons. You shouldn't go there to impress anyone. If you see anyone there and they're just like making big grunting noises and they're all about lifting a big weight for like 2 or 3 times, just ignore them because they're not really doing them. They're just showing off. They're posers. Just ignore them because
Right.
what are you really trying to achieve? Like, it takes a good 5 to 6 reps to really start tearing down those muscles on like a big weight. So if you're doing your biggest weight and you're doing, say, I don't know, three reps of your biggest weight, I really doubt that you're actually doing enough to actually start. You're probably doing weight that's too big for you. You probably have to do a lesser weight so you can get those extra reps out. really burn those muscles. I mean, you've got to feel that burn when you're in the
Very good.
burn sensation. Yeah, the burn sensation. That's what's known as the pump, and that's also that's what you feel as the muscles are tearing down. So
So let me ask you this, Stephen. Should you make friends at the gym?
yeah, absolutely. There's plenty of people you can make friends, and you'll be surprised because everyone goes for their own different reasons, and you might find someone that's going there for similar reasons, and you could train with them.
Right.
And
Similar
it's
body
really
type.
good to have. Yeah, and if you train with them, you'd be surprised how much better it is to train with other people. Like how much more motivating it is. It's like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym this week, but so and so is going to the gym, so I have to go because
And also,
otherwise I'll
like,
be letting them down.
I'll say this: if you're feeling blue and depressed, you'd be kind of surprised
Yeah.
how going to the gym will, change your attitude, make you feel a lot better, make you happier.
Yeah, well, exercise releases endorphins in your brain, which makes you smile. And they often say if you're feeling blue, smile, because smiling releases endorphins. So
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah, I
Okay,
know. Yeah.
so
Go.
just
Yeah.
to ask you, see, what are some of your favorite exercises, just off the top of your head?
Um, my favourites I actually like lat pull down and seated
Yes,
row because I've been getting out big weights on that. I'm I'm actually a fan of leg press.
leg
Because it
press.
makes you feel, yeah, it makes you feel like a big man doing big weights there. But it's
Very
like,
true,
yeah,
but also is a
for a
very
lot of people,
dangerous. Very, to me,
nah.
I injured myself twice already on the leg press, but I'm kind
Oh,
of worried of leg press.
I will. Okay, well, maybe you should talk to some of the gym people there and show them do like leg press with no weight. Show them your technique,
Right.
and they might be able to tell you if you're doing something wrong.
I'll
They
say
might.
this: technique is everything on leg press. That's
Oh
the
yeah.
we have the
Oh,
45-degree leg press, so that's the one I
I
hurt
was.
myself.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I got the same one. I'm just trying to think. How it's 2.2 pounds to a kilo. I'm just getting out the old calculator, and I'll tell you what I'm leg pressing. Well, I got up to leg pressing before. I've had a couple of weeks off because I just haven't. I've been a bit broken from work.
Hmm.
Working a lot. I was leg pressing 396 pounds.
That's
So,
very good, Stephen. That's much more than me. I think most I
oh,
press is. Uh-huh.
you'd be surprised. I've basically been just doing the 8 reps, getting out my 8 reps, and then going,
Right.
okay, it's time to go up. It's time to go up every week that I can go up. That's all I've been doing. And I was starting on 100 kilos or something. It was pretty crap. I was like very disappointed at myself because I'd been up to that sort of weight before. I was up to like 180 kilos leg pressing, and I was like, yeah, feeling good. And then when you see what you've done before and then you're like, oh, but I just want to get back up there. I don't want to be down here. So
Right.
I
Okay.
would,
Besides weights, what else? What other exercises do you like?
um, I actually like cardio. Cardio
Cardio.
is good. Yeah, it makes me feel nice. Like I like when I do it. Like it can sort of zone out a bit. Like if you want to listen to some music or whatever, or watch the
Watch TV.
television.
That's what we do.
Yeah,
Okay. We
yeah.
have at our gym we have the elliptical, we have the treadmill, we have the warm-up bike, and
Oh, which one do I like?
yeah, which one do you
I
like?
like I like what do you call it? Cross trainer, cross the one with the arms and the
Yeah, the
leg thing.
elliptical. We call it the elliptical.
Yeah. Oh right, yeah, I like that one. That one hurts. Actually don't mind treadmill. Um, I don't mind exercise bike, and I like rowing machine.
Yeah, oh, I love the rowing machine. Rowing machine really strengthens your core. I only do like 20 minutes on
Yeah,
the rower. And I also
yeah, I do
stress
about the same.
posture.
I usually change it up. Like I'll do like three of each. So I'll do 3 lots of 20 minutes of each, and that way I don't get bored on one of them. Like I don't just
Hmm.
sit there and go like doing running for an hour. I'm bored. Like that's probably why I'm liking it. It's because I'm not doing the same thing over and over again.
And also another thing that I noticed at the gym is you can watch feats of strength from other people,
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
women
It's
that will
impressive.
blow you away.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was watching this guy and he was benching 160 kilos, which is 320 pounds, I think, around, or
Yeah.
330, 320. And it was just like, I was just so blown away by how much weight he was lifting. I was just like, you kidding me? Like, that would crush me.
I know we have lady bodybuilders that do show up at occasion at the gym, and they do certain feats of strength that I'm amazed at. Just one that's really easy is they can do the chin-up bars and then swivel their hips at the same time. I mean, to me, that's just like when I first saw that, I was just blown away at that strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all sorts of feats of strength, push-ups, doing the body ball
Yeah.
for at length. We have them all at the gym, and the thing about a gym, folks, is there's all sorts of exercises that you can explore. You just watch other people learn the exercises, or go to YouTube and type in the name and learn the exercises that way.
Well, one thing you can also do is like you could either do a video like I did, or you can take a photo of what you look like before, getting serious with the gym.
Yes.
Like you don't have to, or before you start gymming. Then, like say a photo, or yeah, so and then basically when it like 3 months comes up, when say 6 months comes up, you take that other photo and you see the difference, and you'll just be blown away by how
Truly.
much your hard work has shown to have really like changed you, like physically. You'll just be like, I can't believe I look like that, and now I look like this. Like I can tell by looking in the camera that my face has actually changed. It actually
Hmm.
doesn't look as skinny now. It looks like it looks a
Filling
bit
out.
more better. Yeah, exactly. So like there's certain things that you can notice that you go, oh well, I can already see this change there. So
Oh, that's excellent. Well, let me go ahead and
yeah,
end the interview here, our first interview. I'd like to thank you, Stephen. I'm going to go ahead and open up the
yeah.
room to participants, and let's take a quick minute here for a break. Hold on, Stephen. I'm sharing the link right now.
Yep, no worries. Mhm.
Okay, Stephen, if it comes in the room, go ahead and say, hi, I'll be back in just a sec. Refill.
Yeah, no problem. Mhm. Just reading YouTube comments. I'll stop doing that. I can try and tell you jokes while you wait. Uh, you know what? I've been working on my comedy routine, but I'm not that funny, and I got nothing right now. All right, here we go. A duck walks into a bar and he says, "Quack quack 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 quack." How's that? No, not very funny. Um, let's see. You see, this is what people do when they're trying to come up with funny material. They sit there and they plot it out in their mind. They're like, how do I stitch together a comedy routine? And usually you pick something like real life or something about your own life, and you sit there and you ramble on about the comedy, and then you're basically trying to stitch up this one huge joke. Uh, but yeah, I'm not getting the love from that joke.
All right, is it still you, Stephen?
Yeah, I'm still here. I was just talking about comedy, but I was waiting in case anyone's sitting there going, they're just staring at the screen. Yeah, I'm just trying to come up with something funny. I don't have anything. You got any jokes?
Okay, let me see. Can you hear me now? I'm just having some
Yeah,
odd.
yeah.
I was gonna say our
Uh,
friend Jennifer Borden is moved now to Guam. She'll be back online in about a month or two. Are you up for another amoralist escape
yeah,
hangout?
yeah. That sounds
I've got
good.
the
Oh,
last one we
there is
did.
someone.
Okay, go ahead,
Yeah,
Steven.
there is something I would like to do. I would
Go
like to
ahead.
take the more difficult side. I don't want, because you've had the difficult choice every time. I
Okay.
want to take the difficult choice. And I was hoping that we could get Lyrica Orion in, and we
Oh,
talk
most
about,
definitely.
and we talk about, uh, I think it's witchcraft and spirituality. I think is her
Forte.
spiel. I think that's what. Yeah, I think that's what she's good at. So one of the things she's good at. So I'd like to get her, and I'd like to side with her on that one because I think that would be a harder one to side with when you're talking about rationalists and um, that type of thing.
And materialism. The
Well, I mean, if
supernatural.
you're, yeah, if you're siding with the supernatural, and that's harder to side with when you're up against rational thought. So at least in
Okay.
general.
Have you been doing any other hangouts?
Not really, no. No, there hasn't been a reason to, so I just haven't really been worried about it. I've been sort of just, I just think it's like like sponging up real life kind of thing, like getting. I haven't actually been on my computer that much. Been just getting involved in my own life more. So yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, we've got a new year, 2015. What do you want to achieve this year? Is it just,
I want to get a
your
I
fitness?
want to get I actually want to get a distinction in one of my core units. I'd like that
Right.
for my unit. Yeah, so I want to prove to myself that I can do it. And the other thing I would like to do is I'd like to get a new car. I want to
All
get
right.
a ute. Yeah, I think you call them pickup trucks.
Mm-hmm.
I, basically, it's just more convenient for me to have something like that. I'm just a bit tired of having a sedan. So
How's school going?
it starts up in a couple of weeks. So
Oh, all right. So you're off.
yeah,
Excellent.
yeah, I know it's ridiculous. They have these ridiculously long breaks. But actually, what they do is they run these. It gives the lecturers chance to do their research and
Right.
other stuff that they do. So it's not like you might sit there and go, why do they have such a stupidly long break? I don't know. That's just how it works.
Well,
It's not by I personally don't need a break that long. I mean I've just been working. That's all I've been doing. So
okay. Well, have you been making YouTube videos?
yeah, I've been making a few. There's one I've been working on. I keep forgetting to get round to doing it again. It's one I was telling you about. It's a pretty heavy topic, which was a time when I found a car accident victim,
Right.
and my reaction to it and what I did, and basically criticizing what I did, going through it, deciding what I did wrong, what I did right.
Re-examination. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also just sort of saying, look, you know, if you come across it, at least to have that prior knowledge in your mind that this is what your mind will
Right.
do. This is what's going to happen. So
Yeah.
rather than now you've got that prior knowledge, hopefully you'll react better to the situation and you'll do the right things immediately. You'll know what to do right from the start, and that could
Okay.
potentially save someone's life. So yeah,
Many people don't encounter fatality deaths.
yeah. I hope they don't. It's not a very nice thing.
Okay, it isn't unpleasant, but it should be in the toolbox, right? That's
Yeah,
what your
absolutely.
video.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's not something you should look forward to. It's not something you should look for, and it's not something you should think about. But if it does happen, if you have that prior knowledge there, then hopefully that's what's going to make a difference. That you're going to remember all your training that you've had before when dealing with it. See, what I found was when I had experienced it, a lot of the things um, that I knew, and I knew quite a bit about first aid. A lot of the things I knew flew out of my head the moment I was looking at that person. It was just
I
like,
see. Well, that's
yeah,
understandable.
yeah. So you've got to remember to keep your mind like to learn how to train your mind to be able to go right. I know what I'm looking at here, and now I have to do this. And
Keep your
okay,
wits
this
about
gonna
you.
yeah, it's gonna suck. It's definitely gonna suck, and it sounds hard, and it is hard. Someone out there might say that's not hard. Well, when you're faced with a dead body, it is hard. It's not. It's not something you go, oh, you know, I don't feel anything for this person. I don't care, or something like that. You definitely do.
All righty. Well, okay, there's that. We'll leave that there to where,
Yeah,
you
sure.
can cover it in your next video.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, a lot of your friends were surprised by your falling out with Trelawney. Do you want to talk
yeah.
about that, or can you give just a nutshell about where
Well,
that
basically,
go?
it started where he was. I'd realized I stopped talking to him for a bit, and then I don't know what sort of happened. He just started like he kept personal attacking me, and he did that for a long time. But I just sort of put it to the back burner, and I didn't really worry about it. And then he just kept doing it. Like he just kept basically every day. It'd be like on Facebook, oh, you're looking like a retard, blah 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 blah. And it's sort of like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I said, look, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I said, I told you to stop calling me stupid. So, you know, just cut it out, man. Like, he just wouldn't do it. And then he started, and then I basically blocked him from every version of, other than YouTube, I blocked him from every way he could physically contact me.
Yes.
But and then he basically started posting my address online, like in YouTube comments. Wherever I made a wherever I made a comment, it'd be like saying things like that, and I was just like, you can't. I was thinking, like, what are you doing? Like, and then he would basically ring up restaurants in my area and have them like food deliveries to the house, and yeah, and there was other things that happened, and then it escalated beyond that, and basically I stepped over the line a bit, but in the end of the day, I needed him to realize that not only had things gotten out of hand, but also for me, that had gotten out of hand. Like, I was really getting really pissed off with it.
Right.
And I'd had an absolute gutful, and I won't admit what I did was the right thing. I did a terrible thing, but I needed him to realize he wasn't invincible, and that I could get to him as much as he could get to me. So, and I mean, I can tell you what that is if you really want to know, but it's not a very nice thing at all.
We'll let anybody interested, they can contact you on that point. Well, that was a shock to a lot of friends because we knew the close association between you two.
I don't know what happened, and I don't. I thought maybe he was on drugs or something like that, but then I wasn't sure, and I didn't know. So I just thought, you know what? As long as he doesn't contact me, I'm not trying to contact him. He can live out his life in peace. I'll live out my life in peace, and everyone will be happy. So I don't know why anyone would want to take it beyond that, but yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask you this one. Atheism. Has that been played out, or are you still dabbling a little bit in the great debate?
Occasionally.
You're around.
No, occasionally I pop up. I pop up on the occasional video of to have my say on the atheism stuff, but it's hard for me because I mean I sort of sided with atheism because I don't believe in religion. Like, it's not that my personal belief is that I don't believe in God. I actually do believe in God. I just don't want to have any association with religion. I'd rather just say, well, I choose my own life. I do my own thing. I critically think everything. It's not like any of that's changed. It's just that deep down inside, I truly think there's something more out there than what meets the eye. That's
okay.
I think a lot of people feel that way. I think you could honestly say that the majority of people feel that way.
Well, truly, because atheists are in the minority. Okay, if you remember, I think, I'll tell everybody. I met you through Atheism Defended, Raul.
Yeah,
remember him?
Yeah, I was having a look at some of his videos. He's actually moved on. He's doing a lot of political topics now.
Right. I mean, he dropped out in the middle of battle, and now he's come back with no explanation towards me. Or I mean, has he ever talked to you about that since he's come back?
No, he hasn't. I don't even think he realizes. But it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, I was actually surprised he's chosen a different tactic, which is talking about corruption and politics. And I think good on him, picking on a subject that nobody really wants to talk about, but it's if you can expose the truth about it without it becoming Illuminati and conspiracy and blah, 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 then, yeah, definitely.
Okay, you think he got his fingers burned?
Yeah, I think so.
Stay-faced Coughlin knocked him for a loop.
Yeah, I'd say so. It wasn't just Coughlin. I'd say it was a lot of people, but I think Coughlin had a big part in it. The fact is, when he did his video, 30,000 subscribers, a lot of them do go watch his stuff. You're talking about 30,000 people ganging up on you.
How dare you think that you know what the fuck makes other people tick? How fucking dare you? How dare you?
Which one? Me or
both of you assholes?
All right.
Okay, where to start?
How fucking dare you? How fucking dare you think that you know what brings other people happiness? Then you make the comment, well, it's so much easier to stuff his face than to go to the gym. Fuck you. I like the fact. I like the fact that it jiggles. I like this stuff. How dare you judge what other people like? Just like when the things that you were saying about women who don't look like Hollywood, and you called them spent, and you called them all this shit. Fucking judgmental asshole.
Now, please calm down, and
No, I'm done with you, man. I'm done with you.
Well, you've gone ahead and berated us. Now can we, just have a discussion, a dialogue
There
right
is
now?
no discussion. You're an asshole, both of you. And Steven is a racist. Goodbye.
Okay. Well.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, let's fulfill it for the audience sake. I mean,
right.
I'm not surprised that we got this reaction. I mean, I love Kiz, and he's upset. But the only thing I want to bring to everybody's attention is this is what happens when you're in the midst of something like a cult. Okay. I mean, there's just no approachability.
I mean, honestly, Kiz, if I was you, take 30 minutes to an hour, cool down, do whatever you have to do, get your mind right, go back, what's your reaction? That's all I'm going to say. And then ask yourself, is Steven wrong when he says that maybe it's time you seek some friendship from the right group of people? I'd say you're hanging around the wrong group of people if they're encouraging you to gain weight. And basically look for that. I think you need to see some help, man. That is what I recommend you do.
Now, let's take up his end of the argument. Let's say that me and you were being racist and harsh and bigoted.
Yeah, fine, whatever. I'm a racist, whatever.
What are we racist, harsh, and bigoted about? About deliberately making yourself unhealthy?
Oh, I don't know. I guess...
Hey, Lou.
Hey.
And as far as the claim that I berate women because of their attractiveness on the attractiveness scale, that's just totally facetious. Hello, Lou. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing.
First time with Lou. This.
Okay. So, how you doing, man? How you doing?
We just took a face blast from Kiz.
Yeah, that was unexpected, and I have to say, it was. But you know what? He had to get that off his chest, so he's done that.
Yes. I mean, did you watch the interview, Lou, or you just popped in to say?
Oh no, I was watching.
So, I mean, what do you think about the gainer community, about the idea of gaining weight for the look?
What? Well. I don't get it on a personal level. Like, I'm not feeling it. But I've studied a little bit of anthropology, and apparently it's the end thing among the islanders. So I don't know.
Okay, why do you think somebody wants to go that direction? Just in our society.
In our society, I don't. I think it's a misfiring instinct, is what I think it is. Because the reason it was big among like the islanders is it's a symbol of I got frickin' resources. I got more food than I know.
Right. It's prestige to be that big.
Right. But here in America, it doesn't make any sense. So I think it's kind of just like a misfiring instinct that humans have.
Is it a reaction? Okay, let's say this. Is it like they have problems losing weight, so they go towards, some sort of group that accepts them no matter what?
I wouldn't know, but I'm guessing there's a whole variety. I'm sure some people are just doing it because that's what makes them happy or whatever.
All right. Well, is that fair to endanger your health just for the sake of happiness?
As long as it's only impacting the individual,
really? Well, what about like I was talking with Steven? What about his parents, his loved ones, his friends? Seeing him bulk up to twice his weight. Knowing what strain that's putting on his heart.
Right. Yeah. And we got the man right now in the room.
Go ahead, Kiz. Talk, please.
How can you think that what brings you happiness is going to bring everyone else happiness.
Good point.
You guys are being no better than Christian fundamentalists.
Okay.
Thinking that you know what's better for everyone else, and if they don't follow your way of doing things, that they're not going to be happy, that they're not going to have a good self-esteem. You guys are gym snobs.
Okay.
Gym snobs, and it's really bullshit. It is bullshit.
But aren't you concerned? Aren't you concerned that basically all those campaigns that that the governments push and all of that about, you know, living healthy, aren't you worried that gaining weight is going to put you in a situation where...
Did either of you watch the video that I made?
Yeah. We watched it.
Entitled "People Have to Find Their Own Happiness."
Not that one. We watched the other one.
Okay,
Yeah.
you need to... The one that I discussed there, okay... I am well aware, and most gainers are well aware of the risks involved. For myself, I am constantly looking at my blood glucose levels. I'm constantly looking at my blood pressure. I'm constantly monitoring a lot of stuff. And if things get out of hand, that's when I stop. That's when I change my diet. That's when I do something differently. I'm well aware of the risks. You guys act like I'm not. You guys
We're
act
not
like
saying that you're not aware.
You guys make it sound like, oh, well, if he did this, that's what would make him happy. That's what would give him happiness. Oh, when I go to the gym, I do this, and this makes me happy. Well, you're not me.
Not quite. What we're saying is we cannot see where this happiness is derived from. Okay? You mentioned in your video that it was part and parcel of your sexuality.
Yes.
That when somebody pinches your breast and your tummy, you get aroused, right?
Yeah.
Now, what I discussed with Stephen during the interview is that worth the enormous risks that one takes attaining your weight goal?
My sexuality has been fucked off from my upbringing, okay? I don't enjoy regular sex, okay? And, you know, I'm not going to give up jacking off. I'm not going to give up I'm not giving that kind of thing up because, oh, well, I have to do what's healthy as far as, you know, when the things
jacking off is healthy.
No, hold on. The things that I jack off to is the fact that I'm heavy. I jack off to a number of things like that. I enjoy, and when other people enjoy that with me, it's enjoyable for me. When I try to just do the regular sex thing, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. I got messed up as with my upbringing. Now, I'm not saying this is what all the other gainers do this for. Other people have different stuff going on. I just enjoy being heavy. It's a sexual turn-on. I don't see why I should stop just because other people are guilt-tripping me. I know what the risks are.
Okay,
I know that I'm probably cutting 10 years off my life. I know this.
Can I ask you a question, Kiz?
So,
have you tried lifting, like, to get that?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yes.
And what did you think?
It just didn't do anything for me. I mean, yeah, I can build up. It just didn't do anything for me. I'd spent years trying to do that.
Okay, very good. Let me ask you this, Kiz. Okay, you have an admitted problem having normal sex, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, if you went to a medical professional, do you think they would advise you to gain twice the amount of weight at your normal weight, to just double your normal weight? You think they would advise that?
No.
Why do you think they wouldn't advise that?
Because it gives a health risk. You see, you keep going, and you think that once someone says that they already know the health risks, they're already trying to make sure that they're doing things to minimize the health risk while still doing wanting to meet their goal. You make it sound like if you just keep giving a guilt trip, pushing forth what's unhealthy, it's unhealthy, that it's going to do some good. All you're doing is being negative to the person.
All right. Let's say that is true.
I already know the health risks. Most gainers know the health risks. What's the point in beating it into somebody?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see anybody trying. I think I see most people just asking questions. I haven't seen anybody trying to guilt trip you or get you to change anything. It's just a conversation.
Hey, Kiss,
Bunto
have I ever said I loved you any less for being fat? Have I ever said that?
No.
So
But
there we go. I mean, I'm not trying to guilt trip you, Kiz. I'm just, like any loved one, alarmed about the consequences of being so heavy. You ended that
one of the things I've
why
said.
I'm a gainer with a nice punch. You said the only person that affects is myself, so why should it matter? I mean, that was a fearful line to somebody like me. Okay. Hi, Sid. How you doing? Listen, you have to understand something, kids, about people that care about you. Okay, they are going to sort of intervene in your life and tell you things that you might not want to hear. Would you agree, Lou and Sid, that people who care about you will possibly, offer you things that you do not want to hear at the time?
Oh, yeah. Well, Sid's like probably a elderly loser shot in that never sees daylight, but
Yeah, yeah.
but
I just,
oh
no, go
yeah,
on. Sorry.
oh sorry, I was just gonna
No,
add
go.
that as a bipolar person, I have people telling me shit that I don't really give a fuck about hearing all the time, but you gotta let it roll off like
Or
water off.
just understand where they're coming from, kids, that they do care.
But I mean, I've told you, I don't know how many times I've explained this to you,
Right.
and then you keep doing it.
Okay.
Why? Why would you keep doing it? And then
Okay.
you could get in a hangout with someone and act like you just ignored everything I said, and
Okay.
say, well, he'd really be happy if he did this.
Okay, why don't we say
I'm
this,
going to be
kids?
happy if he does what he's wanting to do.
Why don't we say this, kids, that I have an insecurity about fat people. Want to treat it like that I have an insecurity about people who are about gainers. How about that? I have an insecurity about gainers. Can we treat it like that?
If you have an insecurity about it, I mean, discuss it as an insecurity instead of insults.
Okay. Well,
Can I just say something? Can I
Go
just
ahead.
say something? One thing. Before this hangout, when this hangout started, Bunto asked me, he goes, well, can we do a hangout about exercise and nutrition, and can we talk about Kizzume, because I'm concerned about him. That's what he said. So I know I didn't realize that you had gone back on your gaining path. I didn't know until you sort of showed me the videos, and I was concerned when I saw that, because I thought, well, I think you know about the health risk, but what's the worry is that maybe you don't see, like, you're not going to necessarily see the whole picture, and like, all the pain that you could go through, or something like that. And I just don't know. But I mean, to me, it's there's something else going on. That's what it seems like to me. And I know that's a bit personal, but it just seems to me that something else might be going on that you're not saying.
It's been a thing for me since 1995.
Okay.
Okay, and I started gaining in '99. Okay, then I got scared for a moment and I started going by what other people were trying to tell me. I got on a medication called Zyprexa for 2 years. During those 2 years, I was trying to live my life according to everyone else's principles, and almost killed myself 3 times because
Okay.
I was trying to be what everyone else wanted me to be. Okay, then 2 years ago, I had, in August of 2013, I had a major revelation and realized I need to be myself. I need to be what I want to be. And so I started doing that with my mindset. I started doing the gaining thing again. I started feeling really good about myself. I have a decent self-esteem now. I actually have a self-esteem. The only time before this that I had a self-esteem was in my early 20s, and that got destroyed by a lot of situations, getting screwed by a lot of people, and
So weight gaining helped. Weight gaining helped.
Yes.
Weight gaining helped.
Yes.
Why did you go see the doctor?
Because I was concerned about the headaches that I was getting, and when I looked into my blood pressure, I was sometimes getting spikes in my blood pressure, and it was because I was putting too much food into each meal. I was going way overboard on the whole thing. It was ridiculous. You know, I went too far. I know I can't go that far.
Okay, why did you push it so hard? Why do you think you did that? What were you looking for?
I wanted to get more results more quickly. Just like some people, when they go to the gym, they will sometimes overdo it at the gym, and they'll
True.
hurt themselves going to the gym. People have hurt themselves going to the gym with that type of stuff.
Right.
You know, people have gone too far in the protein shakes and some of these things to
Supplements.
enhance them. You know, people have gone too far with that too, and it's the same reasons.
All right. So now, are you going to be disciplined with your eating?
Yes, I already am. You know, I
Okay.
mean, I don't want to get. I would not. I gained like 25 pounds in a month. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
That's
For
ridiculous.
our
That's
listeners,
outrageous.
please describe to us disciplined gaining.
Just eating a bit more than what I need, enough so I am putting in some more calories than I'm using up.
What's your goal for gaining?
My goal is 300.
300 pounds.
Yes.
Why
I'm
300 pounds?
245 now.
Why 300 pounds? What's special about 300?
It just seems like it would have the right feel, the right look, honestly, the right jiggliness, the right, the whole thing. It just seems like it would be the right weight. And going past that, to me, would be absolutely dangerous. I don't want to get gained to a point of being really dangerous. And I've known a number of gainers that do want to go to those points, and I'm like, I can't personally see that. If that works for them, fine. But that doesn't work for me. I don't want to gain to the point of it being really dangerous. I'm willing to take some chances, but not that many. So 300 is a nice balance between a fantasy and what is healthy, right? Kind of between the two things, you know.
Okay. You're at 5'7".
Yes.
Have you met any other 300-pound 5'7" people?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Just what impressed you about them?
I loved the way they felt. I loved cuddling with them. I loved.
Did they have any difficulty in mobility, general activity?
Some. There's some, and I'm willing to put up with that much of the physical things being held back a bit. I'm willing to put up with that much, but not any more than that. That's why I put 300 as the goal. I don't want to get heavier than that.
Okay, just for the sake of our audience, could you describe some of these problems they have?
Well, if you get much heavier than that, it's kind of hard to take care of your ass after you shit.
Right. Walking around, walking through doors.
Not necessarily that. That would be like if someone gets closer to 400 or something, but
waddling around.
The getting out of breath easily.
Yes.
Which I've already found even at my weight, I'm finding it just a little bit there. But yeah, that sort of thing. I don't want to be out of breath just from getting up and going to the grocery store or something. No, I don't want that. It's this balance, and I find that 300 seems to be a good number to find the balance between these things.
Okay, honey, you said that this is part and parcel of your sexuality, right? It aids in your sexual arousal and satisfaction.
Yes.
Okay, at 300 pounds, what type of sex are we talking about? Is it going to be endurance? Is there going to be any stamina to this sex?
Some. Limited, but some. I mean, of course, it's going to limit some of the stamina on that. It limits the stamina in general to some, but again, I don't want to go past that point, I've really given this a lot of thought. You have no idea how much
All
thought I've
right,
given
I'll
this.
give you that much, honey. Okay, people gain weight so they can be better sexually.
For
On the
me, it's more of a
whole, in the
thing of
general.
if I can fully enjoy my body and share that with someone else,
All right,
hell of
sharing
a
with
lot,
somebody else.
it's a hell of a lot easier for me to get off than when I feel like shit about my body and feel like, why would someone want to be with this?
Okay, being at your proper weight would be a shitty experience for you.
Yes, it has been.
Okay.
Always was.
And you attribute that to your weight. It wasn't any other factors.
I attributed that to my weight. When I was in my, all the way until I was about, I don't know, 28 or something. I'm trying to remember the exact years. Throughout my 20s, okay, I was like 125 to 128 pounds.
Okay.
I was a beanpole.
Yeah, you were.
And I always felt like shit about it. And I never could understand why anyone would want to be with someone that skinny. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see, you know, I never had any esteem about it at all. None.
Okay. So, honey, you got to your proper weight and then you decided to exceed it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, proper weight. I mean, proper weight as far as the
160 pounds, I would imagine, for somebody 5'7". Does that sound right, guys? 160, maybe 170?
Yeah, that'd be about right, I think. I mean, you can check the BMI, but yeah, I think round about that way.
Depends on your muscle mass.
Yeah, and also
Yeah, okay.
depends on your lifestyle. Lifestyle has effect as well.
You know, guys, I don't think we discussed muscle mass to the audience. Could somebody just nutshell that really quick? The difference between body fat and muscle mass? Like, you want to have about 10% bad body fat, right, Stephen?
Yeah. Muscle mass is, I think it's basically saying a muscle is heavier than fat. So, I mean, if you want to be heavier, muscle is and always will be something heavier than fat. So,
Anyway,
yeah.
they have ways of checking it really on the quick to tell you, you know, the
Yeah.
best thing to know about body fat is, you know, you can lose it to get more muscle. I mean, you get in a better way. Well, honey, I mean, okay, let me tell you this, you know, and I'm not applying any sentimentality to this, okay? I'm just saying that, you know, when you observe it, it's just, you see other factors than the gaining.
It does seem weird to people, and I know people think it's weird, and I'm not trying to ask for a pity party. Earlier, you and Steve
Well, we
were
know
making it
that's
sound like,
not a pity
I'm not asking for that. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm not asking for any of this stuff that you guys were assuming that I was asking for.
You realize people do care about you, right?
I do know that people care about me, yes.
But, I mean, explain the end of that video then. Hey, the only person that's hurting is myself, so get over it. That was the end of your latest Why I'm a Gainer video.
If I know what the risks are, and I'm aware of what's going on, if you're going to be that, you know that I'm doing what it takes to make sure that I'm minimizing those risks.
Okay.
Then.
Okay, let's say this: you are handling the gainer thing properly. Okay. Let's say that, right?
Okay.
What about the people who you know, send the message? What about your followers, the people that watch your video? What, you know, what shape are they in? Are you telling them how to properly handle weight gain? I don't see those videos.
I don't have the right to tell people any of that.
Okay.
People need to find. People should find how they want to do things. I don't have the right to tell people that.
Explain that just exactly how it works.
I couldn't hear most of what you said because the mic stopped working.
Okay, I was gonna say, if weight gaining is such a benefit, beneficial to your life, why can you not explain it how it works? To people that might be interested. Hey, this fixed kids' life. I want to gain too. See what I mean?
If it's not something, if someone is into it, they're into it. You can't. It's almost like I hate to word it this. It's almost like a sexual preference or sexual orientation. It's almost.
I think it's more like a cult or a religion. There's no science to it. What I'm asking you is, where is the science to gaining?
Where's the science to homosexuality? Where's the
There's
science
plenty.
to liking? Where's the science to liking redheads? Where's the science to liking someone with a certain shape eyes? Where's the science to someone liking a certain shape lips? Where is the science to that? People have preferences.
People are going to examine gaining and go in that direction should they know about the risks.
But we already know it. The risks are brought to our attention every day. You turn on the news, you constantly see, we have an obesity epidemic. We need to talk about... I mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's all over the place. Why do I need to go into the stuff that everyone else is going into all the fucking time?
Okay. Well, I open the floor to anybody else's view. I don't want to hog it all to myself.
You guys are going at it pretty good.
But like Lou said, I'm just asking questions, kids. I'm not, what'd you say, attacking, right, Lou? I'm not trying to be aggressive or cruel to your position, kids. I'm just asking questions about it.
I mean, the thing that had me really upset was yesterday when you were making those comments.
Okay, tell the people what happened so they know. Tell your side.
I put Bunto in my bears circles and in my gainers circles, right? Bunto decided to look at one of the pictures of one of the people that I shared. I said, hey, this guy's hot. And all these other people are saying, yeah, this guy's hot. And Bunto says, oh, well, I guess it looks like he hasn't seen his dick for, this much time. And then the next comment was, oh, I think of a factory farm chicken that got so fat that their fat sticks through the cage.
All right.
And I'm like, what the fuck is that about, man? And then you made us, oh, I just meant it as it reminds me of it. I'm not saying he looks like it. It just reminds me of it. No, you wouldn't have said that unless you were trying to reference it to the guy. Then we had an hour-long conversation after that where you couldn't even admit that you were wrong.
Right.
I'm saying you haven't even apologized for any of this yet. And I finally, when I said I didn't even get an apology for how you made me feel, and then you finally said I apologize for the way I made you feel.
Right.
But you never still. It took until this morning for you to say that. Well, I guess it was kind of wrong for me to say that, and then you turn around and make this hangout.
Okay.
Okay. I gotta say something. Oh, sorry, Bunto. You gonna apologize?
Go ahead, Fiction. No, go ahead, Fiction. I really apologize enough. Go ahead, Fiction.
I didn't hear the apology. I'd like to hear it.
I'm sorry, Kiz. I'm sorry.
No, be genuine about it now, asshole.
That's about as genuine as I can be, bitch. And I hate calling people bitch.
It's okay.
So I am sorry.
I love being called a bitch. You know why? Because I'm a bitch in total control of herself. That's
true, man.
I wanted to put in something nice and positive for kids here.
Please.
Despite the fact that being overweight can be an excessive strain on your heart and other organs in your body and stuff, and it does put you at health risks, right? And he realizes that. But I want to say, last night he came into a hang, and he had us all fucking laughing our asses off.
Like he always does.
Because he came in, and I hope you find this positive, kids. He came in, and I thought I saw... what's his name? Homer Simpson come to life. And he just wiggled and jiggled and it just fucking made me roar, man. I needed it. I've been needing a lot of good laughs lately, and man, you've done it. It was so spontaneous and just out of nowhere. I wasn't even paying attention at first. I looked up at the screen and I go, what the fuck? So everybody just roared, and you were gone. It's like, we want to talk to you. So there you go. I hope that makes you feel better. You made us happy.
You make a lot of people happy, Kiz.
Yeah.
Last night I went to do karaoke, okay? I dress in that way that I've shown in the pictures. It's like basically wearing a belly shirt. I went to go to karaoke to this sort of redneckish place last night, and and there were people pointing and smiling, and some person laughed, and he goes, "Hey, belly shirt man," and I clanked my glass next to theirs. You know, the way I look at it, whether it's at my expense or not, if I can bring someone a smile, if I can make someone laugh,
Yeah.
Right.
I've just improved their life.
Yeah.
Truly.
You don't
Damn
have to
right,
look like a
damn right.
Barbie doll or a Ken doll to do it. Is
That's
what I was
true.
trying to say. Like, I'm being neutral here because like I have to professionally say it's healthier to be as healthy and fit as you can be, but you know what? There's other parts to life, and there's other contributions you can make to make yourself feel good. And if you're making other people around you feel good, then what does it matter what belt size you have, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
The goal is to keep kids around us for as long as possible.
Yeah, for sure. And
Another thing to look at.
I wanted to ask you, kids, is I saw most of the hang, but okay, like your health overall is pretty decent, isn't it?
Yes.
You don't
yes,
have
it is.
diabetes, you don't have swinging blood pressures, nothing like that. Hypertension? No.
No. No.
And you don't have any asthma or any other health conditions.
No.
So there you
Okay,
go.
let me ask you, Fiction. Won't he eventually get those conditions?
Well, as long as he manages his weight, he's not like, I mean, I'll tell you, my best friend was over 400 pounds, and she was in a wheelchair, and I loved her to death. But unfortunately, she ended up with a lot of different health conditions along the way. I saw this woman go from slightly overweight to obese, and then into a wheelchair, had cancer and all kinds of other issues, and her health went down fast. So if you get to that point where you're obese and need a wheelchair and you can't even walk anymore, and your circulation is poor, and you end up all these other health conditions on top of health conditions, you go down fast. Faster than you would.
I'd just like to add one thing to what Fiction was saying, and basically it's a family friend who basically he was walking around, he was fine. He's always been a really big man, like he's never been a small man. He's always been really, really big, and when I say big, he'd be like, 500 pounds or something like that. He's a massive guy. But he's a really lovely guy, and what happened was his circulation or something shut down in his nerves in his legs, and basically he can't walk now. He's stuck in a nursing home, and where his feet are, like he's saying that between his toes, it's like someone's taking an axe and chopping his feet. And yeah, I don't think he'll ever get out of that situation. But last time I spoke to him, but yeah, I mean that was attributed to his diabetes, so just be aware of that. Just things like that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing too is there's been quite a bit of cancer in my family.
Mm-hmm.
For being a guy in my family, I'm almost kind of lucky that I didn't get a brain tumor. There's been a whole bunch of brain tumors on especially particularly my dad's side of the family. There have been a number of things that have killed people off at a very early age in lots of parts of my family. And there is, I could die tomorrow by just going down the street in the car. I could die in a car accident instantly. If I went bungee jumping, I could die of some sort of complication from that. If I went parachute jumping, I could die from some sort of complication from that.
Right.
If I do something that's daredevilish, I could die from some sort of complication from that. There are so many things that we could die of that could happen instantly, or it could happen over a long period of time, that are totally unrelated to this sort of thing. I kind of look at it as, we all are going to die. I would rather enjoy my life as much as I can during the time that I am here on this planet.
Right. Okay, so there's a little devil-may-care attitude in there, right?
A what?
Devil-may-care attitude. It's like, hey, I could die just crossing the street, get hit by a bus, So, I'm going to live my life to a fullest despite the risks,
Yes.
despite the concerns that others who actually have a stake in my life or care about it feel.
Like some people, yeah, it's like some people are going through life. It's like live every day like it's your last day here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Before 2 years ago, I sheltered everything about my life. Everything. I was not living my life prior to 2 years ago. I wasn't really living.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
I was thinking of what crossed my mind was somebody like John Candy. I mean, people love the guy.
Yeah.
And then he's gone, right? How did he die, Fiction?
How did he die? I can't remember.
He collapsed.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
He was way
Wait,
heavy.
was that the guy that did Joe? Oh, no,
There's
go
a
on,
lot of there's a lot of heavy people that what ends up killing them are the extreme diets they try to go on to not be heavy anymore, and then they yo-yo.
Yeah, they're not good.
They'll go back and forth
Don't.
between. They'll go back and forth between starving themselves and eating a lot, and starving themselves and eating a lot. That shit can kill someone quickly.
Yeah.
Are you naturally obese, Kiz, or you actually have to worry about putting on weight?
I have to
You
work.
said you were
at-
128, right?
Yeah, I have to work a bit to be heavy.
So that probably wouldn't be a problem. The yo-yo diet.
Oh, I wouldn't do it. Definitely, no, Kiss is right. Don't do
Yo-yo diet's dangerous for anybody to do. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah, but honey, you can understand if you're like 128 and struggling to put the weight on. I mean, you
Yeah.
can probably
I'm
shed
like
the
that,
weight.
Bunto. I'm like that. I'm 155, 160 now, and I have to struggle to put on weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand. I can understand your.
Doesn't make much
That's all right.
sense about worrying about the yo-yo diet effect.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, you have to understand that your life is all your own, Kiz. It is all your own, and what you want to do with it is your own. But the reason people offer concerns is not because they want to attack you or hurt your feelings. It's just that they're concerns, And also insecurities too. Like I probably have an insecurity about fat people and why they're doing it. Correct? Don't you detect that?
I would think so. I would think so, based on a lot of the comments you've said, not just
So-
to me, but about other people. So
Rather than cutting me off or dropping me like a hot potato, wouldn't you rather try to help me get over my insecurity about fat people?
not when. Well, it would be very.
Or what? Or the second that I question something, I get cut off, right?
When, in order to do such, it hurts me terribly.
Oh, okay.
And if in order to do such, it is extremely painful because it continually feels like you're
Just
trying to degrade me.
questioning that if you have a weight problem is extremely painful to you. What's so weak about the gainer community? Why are they weaklings?
Because
Why can't they take criticism?
everywhere we look around, people are making fun of fat people. Everywhere you turn, there is someone making fun of fat people.
So wouldn't that lead you to believe that there would be more of a tolerance for just the general question of why you're doing this?
When it's from someone that if it's from someone that I've tried explaining this stuff to, it's someone that I considered close, someone that I would...
See, I'm already cut off, right?
Well, all I would ask, I got one question, is would you advise anyone to follow the same course of action if they were faced with the same challenges in life? Because, like, if they were feeling, would you say to do it, or what would your advice be to them?
The only people that I say should do it are those that already have the preference to do it. If they don't have the preference to do it, no, I would never suggest for someone to do it if they don't already have the preference.
In other words, you're saying, Kiz, is what you're doing is working for you for now, right?
Yes.
And when it stops working for you, when your your health starts failing a bit, then you're going to do something to adjust that, correct?
Yes.
I think I heard you say that. So yeah, so then really there's no real immediate.
You're gonna lose weight, right?
What's that?
You're gonna lose weight, right, Kiz?
Or at least change the things that are necessary to not have those issues.
What's wrong with losing weight?
Bunto, that kind of asking that question at this point, it's like almost like you dismissed everything he's told you already this time at this point.
It's called an honest question, Fiction.
Yeah, but did you not listen to his answers from before?
Can he easily answer? What's wrong with losing weight?
I'm just challenging you.
I'm agreeing with Fiction on this. I don't understand.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what she's there. You want to hide behind her? I just asked you straight up. What's wrong with losing weight?
When did I say there was something wrong with losing weight?
Exactly. He's never said that.
Okay, so there's nothing wrong with losing weight.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with gaining weight as long as you're aware of the fact and maintain yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be optimal, you know, you want to be at your peak efficiency, then I understand. But if you want to, if this is just me right here, you know. If I don't see anything wrong with what Kiz is doing, as long as he's aware of what he's doing and he talks to his doctor about it, maybe, or something like that. You know, it doesn't even matter if he does that. But if he knows what he's doing, he's a grown-ass adult. He can make decisions in his life, you know. And
sure,
if it becomes a problem with his health, you know, then I would understand that. I would hopefully understand that he would make a better choice in his life at that time, you know. But ultimately, as long as you're not extremely unhealthy and you know, falling over all over the place, you're getting diabetes from this shit, then I can't really say anything, you know?
That's a good point, Larry. Okay, so let me ask you this, Kiz. Somebody who's weight gaining with a discipline, they're seeing the doctor like every 3 months to see if they're doing it right, correct? Don't you think that's a good idea, Fiction, to see a medical professional like every 3 months, you know, with your weight gain, see how that's coming along?
Yeah, 3 to 6 months. I don't, but
you know, you tell the doctor.
No, because I don't even go to a doctor unless it's an emergency.
You don't need to go to your doctor because you want to gain weight. You would go to your doctor for normal checkups and stuff like that, and if he gives you advice, then take it or don't, you know? And I mean, I don't think that kids should
Why wouldn't you want to see your doctor if you're gaining, you know, 5 pounds a month?
Bunto, listen. Listen up. Before I got cut off, I said I don't usually myself go to a doctor unless there's an emergency, unless there's some extreme concern that crops up. Right. Otherwise, if I feel pretty healthy and good, there's no real concern, then, you know.
You know, so what's a real concern? Like you're running out of breath or your heart's palpitating?
Well, yeah, if there's any, like...
You're having mobility problems?
I would want to have blood work done every so often.
Yeah, blood
headaches.
Get some blood work done once in a while, which I'm planning on doing anyway.
You know, you go to your doctor and say, hey, I want to get up to 320.
I check my blood glucose levels regularly.
And what are your blood glucose?
I have a blood pressure cuff that I check a lot.
So is your pressure?
I want to get cholesterol tests done.
Is your pressure high?
It's been all right.
So high or?
I said it's been all right.
Just questions. I mean, you know, to me, it's like, okay, I'm going to be a disciplined weight gainer. I'm going to be putting on 5 pounds a month. Let's say every 3 to 6 months, I go see a doctor. Say, you know, hey, I'm on my way to 320. How am I doing? Hey, Lindsay.
Okay, and I got to ask a question too. I'm not sure I asked it. Or if you guys addressed it. What is the reason exactly why you prefer to be a little bit overweight, kids?
It's a sexual preference.
Strictly a sexual preference, or is there another reason?
That's the primary thing. The other elements are that I like having, to be blunt, I like having a more intimidating appearance. Because when I was younger, when I was younger, I looked like a twig that you could go like this and I'd fall over. Mm-hmm. You know, And I know that there's other routes that one can go. I know I have a feeling that Steven's going to want to say that, well, you can take care of that if you went to the gym and bulked up that way.
Yeah.
And I know this, but this covers both things at the same time. It covers my sexual preference, and it covers the element of someone that is a little bit intimidating in appearance. It covers both things at the same time. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a win-win.
Mm-hmm. Now, can I just point something out to Bunto there?
Sure.
Did you see the difference in approach? Do you see the way I asked Kizzume? I didn't ask it in a condemning way, right?
What I was,
So,
you know, okay,
hold
you
on,
know
hold on.
how tall?
Want to get results? You gotta watch how you do it.
Sure, okay. Ask Kiz how tall he is.
How tall are you, kids?
5'7".
Ask him what his goal weight is now. Go ahead, Fiction. You want to do it right? Ask him.
Share that?
Bunto, you are trying to.
Hey, I just got dressed down by Fiction because of my demeanor. Go ahead, Fiction. Ask him what his goal weight is.
Bunto,
Ooh, he's getting offended
Bunto.
now. Bunto.
It's not the tone you're asking it. It's the series of questions you're asking. It is what you are assuming in order to ask those questions. Okay? When a lot of these questions that you're asking, same with Stephen, but you've been doing it worse, is you are judging in the way that you're asking stuff, the order that you ask things, the reasonings why you ask things. There is a massive amount of judgment there.
Yeah, yeah. He's a human being, above all, there, Bunto.
Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead and ask him what his goal weight is, Fiction.
And treat him with respect.
I want to ask his, is that something you want to share with us?
He shared it in his video,
That's fine. 300 is what I generally say it is, but if it's somewhere between 280 and 320, if it falls within that, it's fine. But I generally say 300 is the goal.
And where are you at now?
Wow. I'm 5'11", and I've never been higher than 220, which is way overweight for me.
I'm a 5'7".
I know.
And how much do you weigh now?
Oh, I'm 245.
And how do you feel at 245?
I notice I generally feel good. I really love the fact that I don't get cold easily. I hated that when I was thinner. Just hated it. But I don't like, the things I don't like is how much easier it is to get out of breath.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
that
it's
sounds
gotta
sensible
be-
to you, right, Fiction?
So let me finish. Okay, so I would say I would watch that shortness of breath. Okay, keep an eye on that.
It's gotta be massively stressing on your heart.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any other organ that is going to be as stressed as your heart, unless you keep on eating and eating and eating and.
Yeah, like I think 300 is a kind of unhealthy. You said you're 5'7"?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an unhealthy goal, I think, and especially if at 245 now you're already experiencing shortness of breath and being easily exasperated upon exertion, right?
So,
That would be something just to watch,
Very much. Very, very much.
Uh-huh.
so
We
I,
don't want to lose you, kids. We don't want to lose you, man.
and I just thought of
I hope you can see why my concern is merited now, Fiction.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't. It's not that I didn't see it before. It's just the approach that
Yeah.
that was concerning me.
Maybe
And
my
issues
approach is
issues like-
alarm.
With issues like this, it's a health issue. So you've got to take a different approach. It's not about believing in
Sorry
superficial,
if my approach
supernatural crap.
displayed some alarm, Fiction.
Huh?
Sorry, Sid, if my approach was a little
You don't sound sorry,
concerned,
Bunto.
right?
I don't hear any contrition.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
either.
Sorry, you're going to be looking far for it. I do have a lot of concern for kids, and it's like I'm willing to put up with any sort of recalcitrance on his part.
But you know what?
But, for my friends who don't ask basic questions, who claim to be medical professionals, who want to criticize my approach first without basic common sense questions, I mean, the idiocy is, enough for everybody to see. I'll just leave it at that.
Did anybody hear either one of us?
Is it okay if I go, guys? I mean, I've just got other.
For the interview.
I got an appointment. Yeah, I know. I've
good.
got a I've basically I do have a doctor's appointment, and unfortunately, I don't even know if it's good news or bad news. So.
Best of luck, Steven. Thanks for
coming. Yeah. Well, Thanks for hanging out, and thanks for coming, Zoom and everyone else. Like,
come back and let us know.
I don't know everyone's name. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, that's it. I just want to eat some lunch and stuff before I go because I haven't had a chance to eat some lunch. So, that was just been something that's been going on, and hopefully it's nothing serious. But I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully not. But yeah, you guys take it easy, all right?
Take care.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
All right. Well, folks, let me go ahead and wind down this interview at this part. I'd like to thank all of our participants for coming, and especially.
Your mic went out.
Okay, I'm having audio problems. I'd just like to thank Kizzume for coming tonight. Y'all have a good night. Take care.